Deputy Chief Adelino Souza, Union President Evan Bielski, and Union Vice President Arthur Haggerty. So I'm going to introduce the chief, to have him come to the podium and talk about the events that transpired last night. We're going to have a few speakers, and we're going to save questions till the end, and I'll guide you through that to let you know when we're ready for that. Okay, so right now, Chief Paul Vera.
Thank you, Scott. Thank you all for being here, showing your support. So I'm going to give you a brief synopsis, similar to what we've released earlier today. So last night at about 8:45 p.m., Detective LeVar Gilbert, who was working in an undercover capacity in the area of Orchard Street and Rivet Street, was struck by gunfire. The bullet penetrated through his driver's side window and struck him in the face. Detective Gilbert proceeded to transport himself to St. Luke's Hospital. He radioed that he'd been struck, pulled up to the front, and was immediately given emergency care. So Detective Gilbert remains at St. Luke's Hospital. Thankfully, he's in stable condition, and we pray and think of him and all hope for a speedy recovery. So the investigation, as you know, is ongoing. I won't be able to speak in great detail to that, as you can imagine, but I would like to thank Detective Gilbert for his commitment to be on the street every single day, and again last night, performing his duties. And really, each member, men and women of the Bedford Police Department, they do on a daily basis, and have this risk to ensure the public safety. One thing we can ensure is that that neighborhood, Goulart Square, area of Orchard Street, Rivet Street, we're confident that this was a random act of violence, and we don't see any fear of retaliation or anything of that such in that neighborhood. So again, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. Mayor John Mitchell.
All right, thank you, Scott. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We put out some information about this matter last night, as well as this morning. We wanted to make sure by the end of the day we're getting everybody the information they needed and were entitled to. First off, I just want to say that LeVar Gilbert is doing well, remarkably. It was an extremely close call, and we talk about matters of inches. This was much less than an inch in terms of its risk of doing much more damage. And so he's recovering, and we are, more than anything else, grateful for that. I want to say that I greatly appreciative of the work that our department does every day, but what has been on full display in the last 12 hours or so, almost 24 hours, I suppose, has really impressed me, not only as the mayor, but as a former federal prosecutor who's seen a number of different types of investigations unfold over time. This is an investigation that has been given a concerted and thorough and very skillful effort, headed up by our police department, by our chief, Paul Oliveira, and we're grateful for the assistance of District Attorney Tom Quinn, the Mass State Police, and the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms as well. And so it's a team effort, and I can tell you that it is extremely active at this point. It is an investigation that has a number of active leads that are being pursued, and that we have a high degree of confidence that we're going to be apprehending those who are responsible for it. I do think it is important for everybody to understand that the public can play a role in it. So if you have information about who may have been involved in this, we need you to come forward. And it's not to say that law enforcement is groping in the dark. They've got leads and they're working their leads, but it is always more helpful when folks in neighborhoods, whether it's in the Goulart Square neighborhood where this happened, or anywhere else in the city, or anywhere else in Greater New Bedford, if you've got information, please bring it forward. You can call the New Bedford Police Department's tip line. They're available, but we want to make sure that we're getting all the evidence that we need to put together a strong case and bring this person to justice. With that, I'll turn it back over to Lieutenant Carolla.
Thank you, Mayor Mitchell. I'd like to turn the podium over to District Attorney Thomas Quinn now.
Thank you. Good afternoon. First and foremost, as was mentioned, thoughts are with Detective Gilbert, who was injured and certainly could have been killed based on what took place last night. This highlights the danger that police face in their communities on a daily basis. He's there doing his job, protecting the public, and is the victim of a very serious crime that could have been fatal. I'm very pleased that the joint law enforcement effort involving the Bedford Police Department, state police, federal agencies who are now working together, investigating this case and bringing the individual involved to justice. I think that's very important to know that the agencies are working together as part of a team to bring a number of, as I said, investigative agencies together. There are several prosecutors working on this case closely. The case is in its early stages. It is concerning that the conduct that goes on throughout the country, this is another example, just jeopardizes the lives and safety of people on a regular basis in an intentional way and often in a wanton and reckless way. This particular area, the south end of the city, it's a summer night. Rivet Street is a very busy street. There are people around, could be on their doorstep. So anytime shots are fired, it's just very concerning and just not acceptable. So the investigation is ongoing. Like any investigation nowadays, technology will be an important part of this. Various agencies are working around the clock. Any shooting is serious, but this is, when an officer is shot, is particularly concerning. People trying to enforce the law and protect us on a daily basis. So we're going to continue to work this case very much. It's not, in the early stages of investigation, there's limitations on what can be said that can compromise the investigation. So we're all working in this together, and hopefully we'll bring about justice in this case. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. So we're going to open up the floor to questions right now, obviously keeping in mind this is an active investigation, and we don't want to release any information that's going to be compromising of the outcome. So with that in mind, if you have a question, please make yourself known and let me know who you'd like to speak with, okay?
Can you speak to the chief? How rare is it that a police officer calls in their own shooting?
Well, yeah, it's I would assume very rare, especially someone who's been shot in the face and then transports himself to the hospital. It's miraculous of what he did.
What was your first reaction when you heard something like this happen?
It's the phone call you never want to get.
Chief, can you speak to the detective who he is, how long he's been in town?
Yeah, sure. So Detective Gilbert's a 17-year veteran, spent a number of his years, and actually probably the majority of his years, working in our narcotics division. Very, very successful detective. If you do any research on him, you'll see numerous press releases on major drug seizures that he's had throughout his career. He's just a very, very unbelievable detective and an unbelievable person. So, like I say, our thoughts are with him.
Chief, could you make the distinction? Was it the bullet that injured his face, or was it the shattered glass from the window?
It is in fact, they determined it was the bullet.
Can you clarify for us, earlier it was said that this was random, so that he wasn't targeted specifically. Can you just tell us more about that?
I can confidently tell you that through our investigation up to this point, yes, we do not believe he was the intended target of the shooting. I prefer not to get into much more detail other than that, but I'm comfortable saying that to this point, yes.
Can you say what he was doing in the area undercover?
I was just conducting surveillance. He was undercover capacity, so just doing surveillance.
In the press release, you mentioned that a male went to the hospital with a gunshot
It was in fact related. This male happened to be in the same exact vicinity, so he was. We have learned that he was struck. He showed up to the hospital shortly after the officer. So yes, we have determined he was in the area and he was struck, and he was also treated at St. Luke's, and he has since been released.
Do you have a description of any suspects or getaway vehicles?
At this time, I'm not going to comment on that.
DA Quinn, would you mind just explaining your office's role in this investigation?
Well, we certainly are involved in the prosecution of crimes that are committed. A crime has been committed, and we are working with the Bedford Police Department, as we have a very good relationship with throughout the year, investigating crimes and providing assistance. So, I mean, our role is pretty straightforward, working with them, following up leads and information and evidence on the case that hopefully will lead to charges being brought in this case.
What is ATF's role in this investigation?
Well, I think what's important is, in general, without getting into the specifics of this, because it really isn't appropriate to talk about the precise roles of anybody, it's law enforcement agencies coming together on a most serious matter to provide whatever assistance that's within their area of expertise to assist in solving this crime. So we are grateful for the support of everybody who's involved, because when you have a police officer shot in the line of duty, that strikes home with everybody. It should. So people are coming together to provide whatever assistance they can.
Mayor, this is your city. What's your message to people that think that they can come here and do stuff like this?
You'll get caught. And I say that not out of a sort of a empty confidence, but there's a strong track record of our police department working with their partners in law enforcement, including the district attorney's office, of turning these cases around. They've been very effective over the years at gathering, especially electronic evidence. That is like the new thing, sort of the new thing in law enforcement. So, and they've been very good at it. So this guy's not going to get away with it.
Chief, would you be able to speak to whether the detective would be able to go back into the undercover capacity once he's better, or does this kind of take him out of that capacity now that we've named him?
Really, right now, our main concern is his recovery and his supporting him and his family through it. So, that time will tell, but really, it's all about his recovery right now, being there to support him.
Chief Oliver, when's the last time an officer was shot in the line of duty in Bedford?
It's been about 10 years now, I believe.
Chief, could you tell me, you said that he wasn't a target. Was it police officers in general, or was he just wrong place, wrong time?
I would say wrong place, wrong time. There's no evidence, I should clarify, no evidence of Detective Gilbert being a target, nor the police.
Are you able to comment whether there is any video surveillance of this particular act?
As you can imagine, all crimes, video plays a key role. So that's currently been the far majority of our time today, and will continue in the next 24 hours as long as it takes to pursue any and all video, any type of evidence. But obviously, video is a key component of that.
Is it believed any other individuals aside from the detective and the man with the gunshot wounds that also received gunshot wounds, or are those only two people known?
That's correct, just the two.
Thank you very much for your interest in this case and for all of your support. In addition to questions that I fielded from the media, I have also gotten a lot of words of encouragement and people just calling and saying, hey, listen, all questions aside, we wish you guys well. So, we really appreciate that. If you have any follow-up questions, you can feel free to email me or contact me. I'd also like to stress that, anybody in the public that has information they'd like to give out regarding this incident or any other for that matter, you can do so anonymously, and all the instructions for doing so are on our website and our Facebook page. And remain on our Facebook page for up-to-date information regarding anything that we're doing, including events and including news. Okay? Thank you very much.